Hello and very good morning to the students, all the students present. Right. So, student, today we are going to start with a very useful and interesting topic for your mathematics. That is the statistics. Right. It is one of the topic which has a lot of application in our day-to-day life. Right. Now, what is the meaning of stats? What it is? How it is used? Where it is used? All these questions comes. Now, when we talk about the stats, we talk about the data. What is data? Now, when we say data, so data, when we say it's information, right? Information can be of different types. For example, very basic example we take. Let's say in a class there are 20 students. Their teacher has conducted one test in the class, let's say of any topic in mathematics. Now, test is of 10 marks, right? The marks obtained by all the students, all the 20 students, the information about their marks, that is a data. If I take this data, right, let's say I take this data, marks of 20 students in the class. Let's say the test was of 10 marks. 20 students got the marks, let's 6, 8, 5, 9, 10, 10, 8, 3, 2, 5, 1, 4, 0, 2, 8, 7, 9. See how much it becomes? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 17, 18, 20. Now, this is the marks of the 20 students in a class. Now, this is the data, right? My question is, does this data gives any information? These are just number for us, right? Now, to make this data more informative, what we have to do, we have to organize this data, right? There are certain methods which you have done in the previous class to organize this data, right? For example, if I organize this data, let's say I take here class marks is how many students got the 0 marks, right? Here we write the frequency. Frequency means how many students got the different marks, right? Let's say if I take 0, how many students got 0? 1. How many students got 1 mark? That is also 1, right? Circle करते जाते हैं जी, so that कोई भी duplication ना हो जी. Then student who got 2 marks were 2. Then student who got 3 marks, only 1. 4 marks वाले students, we have 1 student, right? Then the student with 5 marks. 5 marks, how many students got? 1, 2. 6 marks, 1. That's it. 7 marks, 7 is only 1, 2. 8 marks, 1, 2. 9 marks, we have 1, 2, 3. 8 is 2, 3 ends. 1 this is also it. So that will be 9 marks, we have 1, 2, 3. And 10 we have 2. Now we have organized this data, right? Now you have to calculate that the total comes out to be 20. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 14, 17 and to 19. There is 3 tens, right? So now it is complete 20. So now we have organized this data. Now, earlier the data was in the raw form, now organized. Now it is become more informative. If I have to ask how many students got marks more than 8, more than 8 is only these two, 3 plus 3 6 students, right? How many marks? If I say the minimum passing marks is 5, how many students could not clear the test? So 5 से नीचे वाले could not clear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 students could not clear the test. So that is the data. So now this data is known as raw data. The data which we have organized is known as discrete data, right? There is another form of the data that is known as group data. Group data. Now we have class marks. When we organize the data in the form of group data, we have here class interval, right? And here frequency. For example, if I organize the same data in this format, then this will become group data. So we can organize the data in 3 different ways. First is the raw data, which is the unorganized form. Then if you organize, first form is discrete data, then is the group data. Now, representation of these data in the various forms becomes more informative. Few of such forms are the graphical representation. Graphical representation. We have different type of graphical representations. When you, for example, when you see the cricket match, right? There are so many graphics are there in the cricket match. The one of the most common is when you see the, let's say you are watching a 2020 match. There are 20 overs. Now on this x-axis there are overs, and here the number of runs scored in per over. For example, this is the first over. Let's say in the first over only 2 runs scores. Let's say second over 10 runs were scored, right? So this type of graph is there. Now this type of graph is known as bar graph, right? Bar graph. Or here is the first, right? So now bar graph, right? This is the first over. This is the second over. This is the third over, right? Generally, bar graph has the gap between the two rectangles, but here there is no gap, right? When there is no gap, this bar graph becomes histogram, right? Histograms. So these are the two types of graphs, right? Now, third type of graph which we generally see is the pie charts, which you have drawn in your standard 8, right? Pie chart बहुत use होते हैं students in your cricket matches, right? So another chart which uses in the cricket match is the your worms you have seen, like this the number of run scores, the comparison of two teams is given. One worm is, let's say the color is different. So another team, let's say the team A, team B. These are the graphs. They are started from the first over 0, and then how the progress of their team score is shown in the two graphs, right? So today we'll understand how to draw the graphs, different type of graphs, right? Which you comes across in your daily life. If you know how to read the graph, that is a very powerful tool to understand the things, right, students? So now we'll start first of all with a bar graph. What is a bar graph? As the name suggests, bar. What is a bar? Let's say we take gold bar. What is a gold bar? एक आपने अगर देखा हो एक्चुअल में या मूवीज में, व्हेन यू सी द गोल्ड बार्स, तो जनरली जो बार होता है दैट इज ब्रिक टाइप ऑफ 1 kg वेट, उसके स्मॉल बिस्किट्स आते हैं, राइट? एंड व्हाट इज द शेप ऑफ दैट ब्रिक? इट्स ए क्यूबॉइडल शेप, राइट? नाउ दिस इज कॉल्ड द बार, right? Basically, it's a rectangle. When you represent this in the two-dimensional form, that become a rectangle. So we'll understand the bar graph. Let's say we take the data. Here we take the, let's say, items, and here, for example, we take an example of some data. For example, the expenditure in a household. Expenditure in a household. Here, in a place of items, we'll take different heads. For example, grocery, house rent, children's education, then saving, and let's say miscellaneous. Miscellaneous means all other things put together. Right? So now when we take the different heads items, here we take the expenditure. Let's say a person have expenditure. Let's say a person has salary of monthly salary of 80,000 rupees. Out of 80,000, the grocery part his expenses is, let's say, 12,000. Rent is, let's say, 18,000. Children's education is 20,000. Saving is 15,000. And miscellaneous is also 15,000. So put together, everything adds up to 80,000. Right? Now, if I have to draw the graph for this data, that is a bar graph for this data, how to draw this? What we'll do, we'll draw x-axis and y-axis, right? On the x-axis, we'll take the heads, for example, different heads. Let's say grocery, then house rent, children's education, savings, and miscellaneous. On the y-axis, we'll draw the expenses, right? Let's say one division represent your 5,000, 5K, 10, 15, 20, right? This is clear. Now take the gap of one big division, right? When you take the graph, एक big division को यहाँ से आपने blank छोड़. Second big division, this is the width of this graph. What is the first item? That is grocery. How much it is? 12,000. So 12,000 will be approximately near this height, right? This is your grocery. This is 12K. Next is house rent. Again, leave a gap of one big division. 18,000. 18,000 will be somewhere here, right? So take this. थोड़ा सा ऊपर. This will be your house rent. Third head is children education, which is 20,000. Again a gap. Children education is 20,000. This is grocery. Right in this grocery. Right. Second is house rent. Next, child education. Next is saving. Again, the gap of this. What is the saving amount? 15K. It is 15K. This is same. Next is miscellaneous. Miscellaneous is 15,000. This will be again, this is your miscellaneous, right? So this is a bar graph. Now various heads were there. Their expenditure here was given, right? So the height of the bar is equal to the expenditure here. So this way we can draw a bar graph, right? So second thing which we have in this type of graphical representation, that is histogram. Histogram is drawn for a group data. We'll take an example of histogram also. Histogram. Now histogram is always drawn for a group data. For example, we take a group data. Let's say here is class marks and here is frequency. Let's say the graph we have to draw for the data. The class marks for this is 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, and 50 to 60. Let's say that this is the data, right? These are the intervals. Now frequency is 6, 10, 14, 9, 3, 2. This is the frequency. Now we have to draw the histogram for this data. How to draw the histogram? Again, x-axis and y-axis. On x-axis, you will draw the class interval or class marks, right? Now we'll start from 0. Origin will be 0. Mark it into 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60. Right? Now draw the frequency on the y-axis. Right? When you draw the frequency on the y-axis, now our smallest is 2, highest is 40. Now what should be the proper interval so that everything is covered? So we take the interval as 2, 4, 6, this is 12, 14, that is 60. Right? So height of the graph or length of the rectangle will be equal to the frequency of the class interval. Now first interval is 0 to 10 and its frequency is 6. So you will draw like this, 6, right? Second is 10 to 20 and the frequency is 10. So this has to be connected. Each bar will be connected to one another, right? So this is 10 to 20 and its frequency is 10. Then 20 to 30, frequency is 14. This is the third bar or third rectangle. Next is 30 to 40 and the frequency is 9. 30 to 40 frequency is 9. 9 will be here. This is a frequency 9. When it is 40 to 50, frequency is 3. 3 will come here. This, right? Next is 50 to 60 and the frequency is 2. So this will be this is the histogram. Now 2, 3 very important things which you have to take care while drawing the histogram. You must have to write the scale. How to write the scale? Now on the x-axis, how it is written? On x-axis. Every graph paper has small divisions and log divisions, right? Generally two types के graphs आते हैं. One is 1 centimeter graph, one is 1 inches. Generally CBSE uses 1 centimeter graph. When we take the 1 centimeter graph, this length of 1 centimeter is the big division. And उसके जो 10 parts होते हैं, that is every millimeter, that is called the small division. So now when you take the one big division, how many points this is equal to? 10 marks. So what you will write on x-axis, one big division is equal to 10. Now this is 10 marks or whatever it is, right? According to the data you can write. Now on the y-axis, when you write on the y-axis, this is the one big division we have taken equal to is equal to 2, right? Because the frequency is 2. So there is a 1 mark for the mentioning the scale. So please do it correctly, right? Everything should be done and graph should be drawn neat and clean. So this is the second type of graph. Then we have the third type of graph, that is a frequency polygon, right? What is a frequency polygon? As the name suggests, it's a polygon, right? Polygon, what is polygon? Any closed figure of 3 or more sided, that is known as polygon. Now in this case, we have frequency polygon, means you have to draw the polygon of the frequency. This frequency polygon is of two types. One is the plain polygon, another is the histogram, polygon with a histogram. Now if you go back to the previous question, now if you have to draw the frequency polygon for the same data, how will you draw this? What you will do, you will take the midpoints of all these rectangles and you have to meet them. For example, like this. Right? Now this is an open thing. You have to close this. How you will close this? You please extend this graph prior to this. This is one division on the negative side. You take the middle of this and connect this with the dotted line. Similarly here, this is the next division till 70. Take the mid of this and meet this. So now this polygon is complete. You have drawn this complete polygon. So this is known as the frequency polygon on histogram, right? There is another polygon that is without the histogram. How to draw that, right? So students will understand how to draw that frequency polygon. Let's say we take the same data, class marks and frequency, right? It was 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, and 50 to 60. Right? So what was the frequencies? 6, 10, 14, 9, 3, 2. 6, 10, 14, 9. Right? So now we have to draw the frequency polygon for this data. Now to draw this, what we'll do? We'll mark the points here 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60. Right? So how we'll draw this? 0 to 10. Here we'll take again the gap of 2 to each. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and right. Be careful when we are taking the points here. Now it is first interval is 0 to 10 and the frequency is 6. So you take 0 to 10 at the higher point. This is the, now what is the coordinate of this point? 10 comma 6. This is the 10 on the x-axis, 6 on the y-axis. Now next point is 10 to 20. The frequency is 10. So this will be 20 comma 10. When you take 20 to 30, it is 14. So what will be the coordinate of this point? 30 comma 14. Next is 30 to 40. That is take on the higher point, higher range 40, and the point will be 9. So this is 9. 40 comma 9. Then 40 to 50, it is 3. Yani ki 50, it is 3. 50 comma, and on 50 to 60, it is 2. So take this as 2. Right? So now you have to meet it from 0. It should be a straight line with the help of a scale. Now after that you have to take this point on the 70 and you have to meet it like this. So this is the frequency polygon, right students? So you have to draw frequency polygon without histogram like this. Make sure you draw or you take the right points when taking the points for the frequency polygons, right? So this is the 3 type of graphs which is there in your entire chapter. We'll take one question also. Okay, another thing which we have is you have to draw 2 frequency polygons on the same graph. That is a comparative graphs. So we'll understand that also. We'll take one more question for that type of thing. Yeah. So we have this question and we have 2 datas. One is section A, section B. So this is 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, and 40 to 50. Frequency is A section is 3, 9, 17, 12, and 2. B section is 5, 19, 15, 10, and 1. So this is the frequency for both the sections. We have to represent the following data on the same graph by 2 frequency polygons. Right? So how to draw this? Again, the same process. Class marks is on the x-axis. Class marks and frequency on the y-axis. Right? If there is some units of the class marks or the frequency, please mention that unit also. So you have taken 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Right? So now you go for the first data. When it is 0 to 10, The frequency is 3. Okay, draw the first frequency. The maximum is up to 19. So what we can do, we can take frequency of 5 each. Let's say this is 5, 10, 15 and 20. Right, so we have taken the gap of 5 each. First is frequency 3. So 0 to 10, 3. So when you are taking this point 10 and frequency is 3, so plot the here. So coordinate of this point is 10, 3. 10 to 20, frequency is 9. Frequency is 9. So this will be this point 20, 9. Then 30, 20 to 30, the frequency is 17. 30 and that will be 17. Then 30 to 40, 12. So what will be the coordinate of the point? 40, 12. Somewhere here. And then next is 40 to 50 is 2. So means at 50 it will be, and last point will be 60, 0. So you'll start with origin and end at the 60, 0. So you meet it. Right. This is a frequency polygon for the section A. Now generally what is advisable when you are drawing the two frequency polygon on the same graph, take the different color pen or different, right? So now what we'll do, we'll take the different color. Now to draw the section B. Now first section B is class interval 0 to 10, it is 5. So 0 to 10 it is 5. So it will start from here. Next is 10 to 20, it is 90. So at the point 20, so 20, it is 90. So it will be here, 20, 90. Next is when it is 20 to 30, it is 15. This point, 30, 50. Right. Next is 30 to 40, it is 10. 40, 10. And on the point 40 to 50, it is 2. 40 to 50, it is 1 सा. 2 तो जो था वो section A का था. So this will be the point and both will converge at same point and start from the, then is this point. You have to draw these lines with the help of a scale. So this is the graph of the section B, right? So now here they have just asked you to draw the two graphs. Generally, but in the real life, we draw these two type of graphs. These graphs are for the comparison purposes. Just by looking at the graph, you can compare the two types of data. Which one is better, which is not better. That can be inference from both type of data. Right, students? So next thing in this chapter we have is making the uniform. If the data is not continuous, to make data continuous, right? How to make the data continuous? Okay. So to make any data continuous, for example, let's say the data is given in this 1 to 10, 11 to 20, 21 to 30, 31 to 40 and 41 to 50. Now, if you look at this data is non-continuous data. Why? Because it ends here at 10 and then start at 11. So what is the meaning of this? This is 10, this is 11. Suppose if there is some entry between 10 and 11, where we will put that? So first of all, we make this data continuous data. How we make this data continuous? Now, what is the gap? Gap is of 1 unit. Whatever is the gap, let's say here gap is 1 unit. So divide this gap by 2. So what it becomes? 0.5. This is known as lower limit. This is known as upper limit. What you have to do, subtract 0.5 from the lower limit and add 0.5 to the upper limit. Means when you subtract 0.5 from 1, it becomes 0.5. And when you add to 10, it becomes 10.5. 10.5 to 20.5, 20.5 to 30.5, 30.5 to 40.5, 40.5 to 50. So now this data becomes continuous and you have to keep the frequency as same. Sorry, I have written so there was no frequency given here. So I have just written the upper limits. So now whatever is the frequency that will remain as same. Right, students? So this is the way to make the data uniform. Next, very important thing in this chapter is when you are drawing a histogram, sometimes your class intervals are not uniform. For example, let's say the data is given 10 to 20, 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 80, and 80 to. Suppose this is the data is given. Here is its frequency. Let's say this is its frequency. Now here is the class width is 10, 10 to 20 is also 10, 20 to 40 it is 20, 40 to 50 10, 50 to 80 30, and 80 to 100 again 20. So what we'll write here, class width. What is the class width? 10, 10, 20, 10, 50, 10. So class width is not uniform. Now what we will do here, we'll make the length of the rectangle accordingly as its width is there, right? For example, what we'll do to find out the length of the rectangle. Length of the rectangle. How to find out the length of the rectangle? What is the smallest width? That is 10th, right? Take the smallest width, divide by the class width into frequency. What is the class width here? Both are same, hence its frequency will remain 4. Here also it is same, 10 over 10 into 9, that will be 9. Here the class width is 20. So what you will take? 10 by 20 into frequency is 12. So that will become 6. Here class width will be 6. Next, it is again 10, 10 by 10 into frequency is 15. So class width is 15. So whatever I am circling, that is the class width, or that is the length of the rectangle. Now next is 10 by 30 into 6. इसको simplify करेंगे. So length of the rectangle is 2. Next is 20. 10 by 20 into 2. So this comes out to be 1. So now how to draw the graph? So class interval start from 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, right? And what was the frequency? Frequency was maximum is 15, right? So what we'll do, we'll take the, it is, let's say the P3 के हमने gaps में ले लिया जी, 12 and now this is the length of the rectangle, right? This is the class intervals. Now just have a look at the first interval, 0 to 10 and the class width is 4. How to draw this? 0 to 10 and class width is 4. So first rectangle is this. Then is 10 to 20 and the class width is 9. 10 to 20 and the class width is 9. Next is class width is 20 to 40 and the width is, and the this thing length is 6. 20 to 40 and width is 6. Now this will be the interval, right? Next is 40 to 50 and the class width is 15. When you take 40 to 50, class width is 15, right? Next is 50 to 80 and the class width is 2. 50 to 80 and the class width is 2, right? Next is 80 to 100 and the class width will be 1. 80 to 100 and class width will be 1, right? So this type of graph will be formed. And this is a very, very important question, students, because you should know how to find the length of the rectangle, right? So these are the all the concepts we have covered in this chapter. So this is basically graphical representation chapter. So 3 different type of graphs are there. So you should know how to draw this, right? So thank you very much, students. So we have come to the end of this topic. Thanks for joining with us.